All right. Hey, everybody, how's it going? Welcome to the well. I'm Paper Ape. Joined as always by Kai and Kaizen. Welcome to the Ape Well. This is, I think this is our sixth episode of the podcast. Um, Gentlemen, welcome. How are
Happy
y'all
Monday,
doing?
guys. Sixth episode already. Feeling pretty good. How's it going, Paper? How's it going, Kaizen?
Real good, man. Excited to chat with you guys. It feels like it's been a long time.
I know these
Yeah, it
weekends feel
does.
like they're just getting longer and longer in this bear market.
Yeah, for real.
Weekends are getting wild. It also feels like we've been traveling a lot, like just between the three of us. Kaizen, you went to Colorado. Paper's been traveling. I've been on the grind. Finally all
Yeah.
back in the headquarters at home base, ready to fuck this podcast up.
Exactly. Ready to get back on that grind.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot going on. We are in the bear market, but man, like we were going over the topics. I mean, there has been a lot of activity, so it's good timing for this.
Definitely.
Yeah, it really has started heating up. So I guess we can probably just jump right into it. The main thing I saw in people's minds, like towards the end of last week and still spilling into this week, is all the Moonbirds stuff that's been going on with the CCO and everything. Kaizen, I figured we can start with you since are you still in the Moonbirds? I know you got rid of one a little bit. I don't know, like a week or two ago. Can you expand on that for us?
Yeah, I used to have 3, and I was so bullish on the project, and just I felt like everything Kevin Rose was doing was just perfect. Like just setting it up, like it felt like a real company, and like they had all this momentum that I really honestly could see a future where they were competing with Yuga Labs and Bored Apes.
Oh, wow.
And just I mean, drinking the Kool-Aid, like that's how bullish I was on this thing. And really with these last 3 things with what does it go back to? The oddities, then the fanny packs, and now this CCO thing. I'm just like, man, that's 3 strikes in a row. Like I feel like I try not to be too emotional about these things, but just kind of watching the way that Kevin Rose has responded to the criticism, like they did a 2-hour town hall, which was great. That they actually had the courage to take questions from some of the people that were frustrated about the CCO decision. So that I respect them for doing that, but the way they responded was really not what I wanted to hear. They were pretty dismissive and just like, hey, yeah. So, anyways, I'm bearish on the project, and I've got one bird listed at the floor right now, and the floor is just kind of slipping.
What is the floor, Kaizen?
16.5. So
Oh,
so I've got one right there, and I mean, this is really just my own probably emotional take. Like I'm good. I want to have one bird,
uh-huh.
and I'm good with that. But I mean, I still can see them making a run. I mean, I feel like they'll go up at some point, but I feel like the sentiment is really, really bad for the Moonbirds. And maybe I'm kind of in that bubble. What are you guys hearing kind of outside the bubble? Are you guys seeing a negative thing on this, or is it positive?
Ty, do you want to go?
Yeah, I mean, I can jump in and maybe just to set the table real quick for anyone listening that's not up to speed. At the end of last week, what was it, Friday, guys? Moonbirds decided to go CCO on their project and basically blindsided all their holders, and K Rose made an about face from his original stance. So, Kaizen, I've kind of been seeing your posts and responses pop up on the different Moonbirds tweets that I've seen, trying to get perspective on the benefits and the pros and the cons and everything. But when I jumped on to K Rose's response, like replies, yeah, I'm in the same boat as you, man. I was kind of shocked. It really seemed like it was a defensive like mentality with some of the replies. And to me, reading between the lines, I feel like I expected more from K Rose and the team on their research, on their ability to communicate effectively. And I'm not too aware of like Kevin Rose prior to NFTs, other than he was like a figure in the startup entrepreneur space. like not quite Gary V, but like I think those two are familiar and blah blah blah. And I also saw something about like that now this is like even a pattern with Kevin Rose on like some of his communication skills or lack thereof, I guess. And it's maybe a repeat occurrence with some of his previous ventures or previous projects. And it feels Web 2. You know, it feels like, okay, hey, we're making a decision for Web 3 and this is the reason, blah, blah, blah. But the way that they went about it was a very Web 2 approach, in my opinion. That was like a CEO top down. This is what we're doing. Nobody knew about it. And it caught a lot of people off guard. And it's extremely hard to regain momentum in the NFT space. Once you start losing it as a project, it's very, very hard to regain it. And I think, like you said, 3 strikes damn near in a row with the fanny pack and I guess the oddities and now this. So it's interesting. We'll see how it plays out.
And I like that you kind of set the table and brought everybody up to speed. And one other thing to add to that is just when I was doing research, thinking about aping into this thing, like on their website, like as promoting the idea that when you buy a Moonbird, it says this on the website, it used to, when you buy a Moonbird, you will hold all the IP for this to, you know, do whatever you want with it. Like that was one of the things listed on the website as a selling point. And for them just to change that midstream, yeah, you nailed it. I feel like it's such a Web 2 thing to do.
That's wild. You know,
yeah, go ahead.
Oh, my bad. I'm just trying to keep it flowing. But like CCO, I saw something about he was trying to like, or Kevin Rose might have been trying to like appease some of the other artists in the space, like Xcopy or Gremplin, because they did that project. There was an opportunity right there on the table to go CCO with the oddities and not disrupt the status quo. Nobody was happy with those suckers anyways. Gremplin was the main artist. He's already CCO OG with Nouns and Toads. They could have done that, and I think that might have been a more, a more safe approach to get the conversation going with the community. And maybe that would have led to, hey, maybe we should do this with Moonbirds, maybe not, but I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
I think that's a really good take. Thinking back on how everything transpired, it does seem like, I don't know if immoral is the right word or unethical or something, but it just doesn't seem right to change the value prop basically of Moonbirds just without asking the community's opinion on it before making the changes. I think what you said about the oddities, like having them CCO instead of the Moonbirds would have worked great. Or even we know that the Moonbirds Ravens are coming up, which is supposed to be like their tier 2 membership, we think. And like, why not just make them CCO right off the bat? Yeah. Because then it would really just be the best of both worlds. But he kind of just shut it down for the community. So I think it's going to take a lot to recover that momentum. And who knows, maybe for the Ravens, they give IP back. I think that might be the only way that they could recover from this. But I was hoping that Kevin Rose would have some more stuff already planned out with the CCO, and it wasn't just a short-sighted decision he made. But just from the talks around the town hall and everything that happened after that, it doesn't seem like he's really got a clear-cut plan for this.
Yeah, I'm on the same page. I saw something too where they're like the holder of the rarest Moonbird. It's like a glitch looking one almost. Kaizen, do you know which one I'm talking about?
Yeah, Lacoste.
Yeah, Lacoste. So I guess Lacoste is like mad supporting the decision right now, like whether he wants to or not, I don't know. But the appearance is like, hey, I'm in full support of this. Let's see what we can do with the rarest one. So it is cool to see their community members like that trying to buy in and still show strength to the project. But I think, they're on a slippery slope.
I agree. And I just, one thing, man, about Twitter and about any of this stuff, it's 99% of what you see, man, is posturing, right? Like this guy owns the rarest Moonbird, and of course he's not going to find his bag, right? Like he's not an idiot. Like he's going to say, yeah, this is amazing. This is good news. Like, this is actually better for me. And then in 2 weeks, that bird will be listed, and hopefully he can flip out of it. Like he's playing the long game. That's how I read that. But
Yeah.
I can't think of any single reason how this actually benefits holders. And maybe I'm missing something, but I just can't think of anything tangible where it's like, yes, great, this is great for holders. This is CCO. Like nobody's been able to explain that to me yet.
No. So how did the spaces go then? Like, I'm sure they were getting cooked by their holders. Like,
Yeah, they were, man. It was 2 hours long, and I'm sure they didn't slot that much time. So that's the only thing I can say that's really positive is that took balls for them to like face these people during like an emotional moment. And but again, I don't think any of their answers like were the right answers. So props to
okay.
them for taking the time, but it was just like, hey guys, we're risk takers. We feel like this is in the spirit of Web3. Like you're gonna have to trust us if you want to be on this ride. I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah.
it. How many times have we had this where it's like own founders of projects poorly communicating with their community, whether it's for an action like this or prior to Zagabond, and then boom, project spaces, upset holders, floor slides, project never recovers.
Yeah, and that's I'm kind of going back and forth. Like, I think you're right. Like 90% of the time, this will kill a project, or at least drop it, way below the current floor price. But the Azuki thing, I just keep thinking about that. Like how short everybody's memory was about this serial scammer that keeps launching these projects, and they're back. I mean, they're at a very respectable floor price right now.
Facts. It's kind of wild to me. To be honest, even though I think Azuki's just got passed up by the dogs, right? The Kennel Club.
Oh yeah, you're right. They got flipped.
On
Absolutely.
a tear lately.
Yes.
But holy smokes! I just pulled up OpenSea right now. I haven't been on since earlier this morning, and I'm not surprised. But I mean, CryptoDickButts making a run.
Yeah.
3.87. Holy shit!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you guys
meme
get any?
season apparently? No, I completely missed out on these.
Bro, I swear
you
these
guys-
pumped at the exact same time last year too.
Yeah, I think they launched just about a year ago, right? Like and they had a good run at launch, and I feel like this is just another one of those kind of meme projects, right? Like it'll just catch some wind, and at some point it'll pull back, but I can't see this launching into blue chip status.
I mean, you know what they say? Don't fade the memes, and memes go hard. This is like an
Oh
OG.
yeah.
This is gonna go down. I don't think CDBs are going anywhere. I think in 5 to 10 years, if you got a CDB, you're an OG for sure.
Yeah, they've got that mystique, right? Like it's an OG project. It's got the meme quality. So yeah, I wouldn't fade it, but I also wouldn't throw all my money into it at this
Facts. Yeah. Please don't. But when we bounce back down a little bit, because inevitably it will most likely happen, might not be a bad idea. I just switched to the year-long chart, and it's probably one of the few charts that over the course of a year is trending up. That's
Interesting.
difficult to do in the NFT space. I mean, if you pull up anybody right now, I doubt anybody's got a whole regression line trending up, except Yuga and maybe CDBs.
That's a good point, because it's really hard for these collections to have any staying power,
right?
But this is just a steady trend upwards, so that's got to be good to see. The one thing that did concern me about this project is just the amount of holders compared to the total items.
Yeah,
that's just one of the things I always look at, and it's not the best percentage. So I'm wondering if there could be any whales of the DickButts.
Man, one thing that I saw, I recently joined the Punks Discord. I finally logged in, and
nice.
They were talking.
Guys in? You got to have a punk to get in, right?
Yeah, and they were talking about Tiffany since like 2 days in a row, and it's been this project CDB for the last 2 days, man. Like I think there's some serious punk bag holders. So I mean,
I believe it.
Yeah, they're going crazy. They're so happy about this and posting theirs and buying more. So it might not be a bad play.
Yeah, I think
Guys,
as far as memes go, this is probably one of those that will last a pretty decent amount of time just because of how ridiculous it is.
facts. This is like OG meme, like OG punk meme type stuff. Guys, and don't forget about your boys when you're in that CryptoPunk alpha chat. You know what I mean?
Man,
Yes, sir.
I will let you guys know, man. It's right now. I'm still just kind of reading the vibes and.
No, I'm just giving you a hard time, man.
But no, I haven't seen much real good alpha. Like they were all freaking out about generative art, like what is it, DALL-E? They were all like digging into that, and
Okay.
but I think that's kind of dripped out into the mainstream Twitter debates and everything. But that's all, man. But definitely, I'll let you guys know if something fizzles up.
Hell yeah. What's the vibes in there with Tiffany's? Because I think on our last call, the fine print had just come out that Friday morning, and we chopped it up a little bit.
Yeah,
But
man, it's been go ahead.
no, I was just saying, any updates on that from the punks and the vibes?
Man, when that first leaked out, so really what Ty's talking about is, yeah, in the fine print of this Tiffany's thing, it depends on how you read it, but the way I read it is you're essentially signing over your IP to Tiffany's. What's his name? Deepak OX?
Yeah.
Deepak, like he's part of that Tiffany's project, and he's defended it on Twitter saying, hey, look, this is just like boilerplate legal jargon. They're not going to do anything with your IP. It's just for this pendant. So who knows? That's kind of the back and forth. But man, when that news hit, like the whole Punk's Discord was like, let's FUD this to 0. Like this is outrageous. Like let's FUD it so we can buy it at 10. Like, and I'm holding one of those things, and I'm just like, oh no. And sure enough, like the floor is just falling and falling.
Is it? What's it at right now?
Well,
It was.
Yeah, it was. But what happened? Deepak went in and swept the floor.
Oh,
and he went in the Discord and was kind of talking about it, putting people at ease. And like the sentiment in that Discord changed instantly. Like I think he bought 6 more. So I think he ended up with 10 of those pendants.
damn.
And then he bought another 5 punks because he said he was giving them out for Christmas presents. So he totally flipped the sentiment. So everybody seems to be all about it now. And all it took was him to come in and kind of change the vibes.
Damn.
It does seem like a weird conflict of interest, though, because of how close he does work with the team. And he started sweeping him at like 22 ETH, and now I think it's back up to almost 30 again.
Yeah, it's been hovering around 30. And I've been watching that one really closely. Like I bought one with the intention of flipping, and that's a dangerous thing with this. By Friday, it's essentially worthless. And so you either have to redeem it or it just becomes like a empty NFT. So yeah, it's pretty intense. So I'm trying to make a move on it. And I think there's only been 100 out of the 250 that have been redeemed so far. So there's still 150 up for grabs. And so I could see it going either way, man. That last day, there's either going to be some super crazy low sells or super crazy high. It just depends what price action is between now and then.
Is there a way that you can check to see if they've been redeemed or not?
Yes. Yeah. Thankfully, under properties, you can just like if it's been redeemed, it'll just pop up redeemed.
Right. That's smooth.
So thankfully they added that.
That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely not an attorney, but when I was reading it, I didn't feel like it was anything more than just that one pendant itself. So it's cool to see Deepak come in there and calm everybody down. Now I guess I just got to figure out how to get an invite to his Christmas party so I can get the chains.
Hell yeah. Yep. He did say that Odell Beckham Jr. from the Rams and also Jay-Z both redeemed theirs. I know Drift and Farouk did.
Swag.
So that's pretty sick, but I'm not really playing with their bankroll, so it doesn't make sense for me.
Do you know what
a little bit?
What was that?
No, I was making a joke.
I was gonna say, do you know what gems? Like, does it give you like a map so you can kind of like figure out what your pendant's gonna look like or anything?
a lot of people have been asking Deepak and some of the other people, and they're just saying, look, it's TBD. Like there's gonna be a designer for your pendant, and that just won't start until later on, until everything closes. So, but I think they said a minimum of 30 gems. So it's 18 karat gold, pendant, chain, and then at least 30 gems.
That's a lot of gems.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're gonna look sick. So I think people that redeem it are gonna be very happy with it. But the price action's just been so crazy.
It's tough whenever you are doing, like, there is a physical aspect to the NFT project, because especially for something like this where it's redeemed and then the NFT is pretty much, I don't want to say worthless, but it doesn't really have a use case after that. It's there's going to be a divergence in where the value goes. So I'm interested to see how that ends up doing with like the actual physical price of the pendants.
Yeah, honestly, I think I could see these being worth a lot of money in 10 years. Like, it's going to be very illiquid, but I mean, there's only 250. It's Tiffany. It's the OG PFP project.
Yeah.
I could see these having value, but yeah, 99% of the value is tied to the actual chain. But the one little bit of alpha, like Deepak in the Discord did say, he's like, look, don't be surprised to see utility of this NFT. And so, of course, everybody like popped the eye emoji, and it's like they're building something else with the NFT. Who knows what that'll be? I don't think it'll be worth 30 ETH necessarily, but they are going to do something else with that.
In one of their tweets, Tiffany said that, or they were like, "This is our first NFT mint for now," or something like that. Kind of. Oh no, here it is. Let me share my screen really quick. We're sold out of all 250 NFTiff until the next mint. So I'm thinking that like whoever owns these NFTiff NFTs are gonna have priority to whatever's coming next. Whether that, I don't know if it'll be a free mint or something that you guys can claim or just a whitelist. But I think that's probably one of the most likely things that's coming up afterwards. What do you think, Kaizen?
I'm just curious what you guys would do if they opened up really the exact same project for apes and mutants. Would you guys try to get together ETH to get into it, or what would you guys' take be?
I would 100% get my ape on the chain.
Yeah, I got the gold drill. I don't think I could not go for it.
I think y'all's would look sick. I mean, I think that's part of the equation. Like, I think both of those would be really sick pendants.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yours would also be dope too. You got the Hugh Hef joint for sure.
Man, I would do it. I would do it for my ape. Like I've said a couple times, I don't think I have the punk that would make it worth it at this point.
Yeah, I feel you. I'm also wondering like what's going to be the next brand to do something similar, or even like laser engrave your ape, you know what I mean, or something. Maybe not a pendant, but another company is going to come quick in the luxury space and do something. Louis, Hermes, somebody.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, for sure. Somebody should. I mean, clearly they made a lot of money on this. So yeah, I agree.
Right.
Louis would make a lot of sense to be one of the next ones because of their ties with 10KTF and We Knew Labs.
They've got ties with 10K.
Yeah, so like the guys, I can't remember if it's called We Knew Labs. It's We Knew something, but basically We Knew is ran by Beeple and then some execs with like at like Louis Vuitton and some of these other like really high name fashion brands, and so like I think that was the reason why they got Gucci in there so quick. But I know Louis is also part of their family basically, so I think it's pretty much just a matter of time before Louis makes the jump into NFTs. I think all these, especially the really expensive designer brands, they're all going to be doing digital stuff, just because they're the first ones to hop on this new wave, and they can see it. They got enough connections to figure it out. But speaking of 10KTF, the combat crate's been going down. Have you guys been paying any attention to that?
I've been trying paper, but I'm a little bit behind, man. I think we could all use a little recap if you got one.
All right, I'll try to throw in a quick recap. So to back it up, a few days ago, NKTF dropped. They did an ApeCoin claim for if you've been participating in their different missions online, or if you own different 10KTF items, or if you've been staking your 10KTF tools, you could actually claim ApeCoin. Basically, it was just a distribution. And so I claimed, like, I think I had 300 something ApeCoins, but some people were up in like the thousands. Like they got basically like half of what I got for holding an ape, an original ApeCoin drop, just from 10KTF. So it's super exciting to see that come out. I'm trying to find a picture. They're coming out with a bunch of weapons inside the combat crate. See if I can pull it up really quick. But I'm super bullish on them because I'll figure it out in a second. Hold on, I gotta dive to the Discord real quick. But Ty, have you been following that at all?
I'm at, like, I was literally just pulling through my messages to try to see this ape list that you tried to hook me up with. So I was traveling yesterday and got back super late, so I was just getting on it right now. But could you? I guess what I don't get is, like, how did they break this down? Like, what were the qualifications needed to try to mint a crate? Did you just have to have like one stock room item?
So the more missions that you participated in, you earn badges for doing each mission. And
Okay.
basically the more badges you had, the more crates that you could mint. So for me, I participated in 5 of the 8 missions, and I was able to mint 5 total crates. But I only had enough ApeCoin on me to mint 2, so I only minted 2. It's a somewhat steep price of 130 ApeCoin per mint. But
That's a lot.
I think it's a pretty solid. I don't know. I will say I did mint 2 of them. I think it's a pretty solid buy, especially if you do have an ape, because those items sell for a premium compared to other collections within 10KTF. So like how it works is from the crate you'll get a blank item, and the items in these combat crates are weapons. So I know you can get a sword, you can get a flamethrower, and those are the 2 rare things. And then there's, I think, 2 or 3 less rare things that you can get. But basically, if I have a blank sword, I can combine that with my Bored Ape, and then have my Bored Ape basically printed on the sword, which will give you extra benefits within 10KTF's game. So to me, if you have an ape and then you're gonna use one of the blanks, it's a no-brainer, because you're automatically gonna be able to sell it for more than a floor sword from a different collection, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I've looked at the ecosystem and I've seen that. Yeah, the Bored Ape items are definitely priced over some of the other collections. I haven't dipped in yet. Like, it seems like this would probably be a really good entry point, but some of these collections, like, as they grow, like, it just becomes confusing. And I think maybe that's me just being lazy, but that is a little bit of a barrier to entry when it's just like they're doing so much. And I feel that way about like Punk's comics and all that. Like, I just don't. There's too much going on, man. I just can't get into it. But I think I am bullish on this one for sure.
I agree with that, and I think that's probably one of the biggest problems in NFTs right now, is that because there's so many interesting projects, but if you don't spend 100% of your time focusing on some of these more, then you're lost, basically. Like right now, I can't even find those weapons that I want to show you guys that they were teasing that are gonna come out of this box, but I know it's been dropped somewhere. But yeah, I had that same problem with Azerbala. Like, they're doing super cool stuff over at Jenkins the Valet, but they've thrown so much new information and all put behind lore that it seems impossible to catch up on if you're already out of the loop.
Yeah, there's something to that. Like, we keep talking about, like, hey, we want to see these projects innovating. But man, like, there is kind of a point where it becomes too much. Like, if you can't, what do they say? Like an elevator pitch. Like, you're riding on the elevator with somebody. If you can't explain what your project is doing in that little 30 seconds, then you're trying to do way too much.
Yeah, it's like it's hard for somebody that wants to join the community to join in the middle of the story, as opposed to at the beginning when they, are at the grassroots. They see everything develop. Yeah, it's a lot to take in from an outsider.
But did you say that Beeple is involved with this one?
Yeah, Beeple's one of the main guys behind 10KTF.
Well,
That's what first got me. I saw
yeah.
him posting everything, liking everything. He would quote tweet 10KTF like right from the start. So immediately that it took some, it just piqued my interest, and more people in the community did the deep dives and found out his connections to We Knew. And at that point, whenever it was still not very known information, I just went all in, basically. But I don't have that many 10KTF stuff anymore. I'm actually trying to get rid of my last stockroom item.
And I'm glad, like, there was a lot of speculation when Other Side dropped, like, that 10KTF was going to be deeply involved in it, but I wanted to believe it, but at the same time, like, I saw the whole Cool Cats community kind of pipe dreams, same thing, just hoping and dreaming that they were going to be folded in. And I am glad to see that it's actually panning out, like them making everything available in ApeCoin, and that's great to see that it is an official piece of that whole puzzle.
I think that's probably one of the biggest things about 10KTF that makes me bullish on them still is their connection with Yuga and ApeCoin and everything like that.
Yeah.
Because we haven't seen anybody else get any kind of ApeCoin distribution at all. And to me, that's like a clear connection that they have together. I know 10KTF is going to have a huge presence in the Other Side just based off that, because they are that fashion brand. So there's going to be, I think there's going to be a lot of overlaps between the two entities.
And do you know what the supply is going to be for these crates? Or is it just kind of open-ended, or is it capped at a certain amount?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure on that. I think it is capped because they were doing 3 different sales. There was the first one for the people who had already been participating in everything. If you got the ApeCoin drop, basically you're already able to buy the combat crates immediately. I think today or tomorrow, the next drop launches for somebody. I think it's for people on the ApeCoin list, so you could just sign up, and if you have at least 130 ApeCoin in your wallet, then you can be put on that list. And then, but I think before that was the people, like if you knew somebody who was on the original list, they could invite you, and then you'd be able to buy a crate. So like, I gave Ty my invite, so hopefully he gets in there and cops one for the fam.
Yeah, it says I gotta check back Tuesday to see if I'm on the list.
Okay, dope. Hell yeah.
Yep.
We'll check in on that tomorrow then.
Oh yeah, tomorrow.
Yep. But yeah, the only thing besides those, I don't know, did you guys have anything else to talk about on that topic?
No,
I'm pretty good, man. I think you guys hit the nail on the head. Like it's a lot. And I mean, just by itself, there's a lot that goes into that project. And then just trying to keep track of everything. It's like a full-time job.
It is.
Literally.
We need interns for this shit.
Yeah.
We need some Fiverr interns for the podcast.
100%. If y'all are out there and you want to be part of the podcast and do some of this research for us, definitely hit one of us up on Twitter. We're 100% open for that. But did y'all see the new stuff that happened with Tornado Cash and all that announcement?
I did not, man. So I was hoping that you could fill me in.
All right. Let me share my screen real quick. Okay.
Oh, this is coming from the Fed.
From Mr. Secretary Antony Blinken. It says, "We will continue to aggressively pursue actions against currency mixers laundering virtual currency for criminals. Today, the U.S. Treasury sanctioned virtual currency mixer Tornado Cash, which is a U.S.-sanctioned Republic of Korea state-sponsored hacking group used by North Korea to launder money." That was the statement. So they're trying to come with the narrative that
Tornado Cash is North Korea.
Yeah.
What?
It seems ridiculous, but that's what's going on today. And I think this news just dropped this morning. So yeah, it's a lot to take in.
Wow.
Damn.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
So I've never actually used Tornado Cash. I don't know too much about it, to be honest, but it seems like a way to
Basically,
help staying on if you need it.
yeah, 100%. I mean, it can be used for good and bad. Uh, on the bad side, you can use it to launder money. I think it was a pretty easy way to do that, but I don't even know if it was 100% accurate because I'm pretty sure I've seen Zach XBT track stuff through Tornado Cash, even though it like got sent through there.
Yeah, something. Yeah, I saw something like Zach getting down in the
Mhm.
details.
Yeah, but it's basically just a privacy option it's just a privacy tool for people that are using Ethereum. And I don't know, maybe it has some other chains on it. I'm not 100% sure. It sucks that that's no longer an option for people. And I think this is just going to start the next wave of privacy based tools or coins coming back into crypto because we haven't really seen any of those pop off for this whole cycle. They kind of rose with the tide, but nothing really set itself apart from the rest of the market. So I'm wondering if people are going to start focusing on that again, like Monero or Zcash or anything like that. I think the zero knowledge stuff is really you can really make a good case for it. Just now that this privacy stuff's going on.
Yeah, I think there could be like a bump in some of those more like anonymous coins and things like that. But really the thing about this that just jumps out at me, my knee-jerk reaction is like, this is like the mainstream media's narrative about crypto is, yes, it's being used for money laundering and all these illegal activities, right?
Totally.
And then meanwhile, like I think about a year ago, it was JP Morgan, HSBC, Deutsche Bank, Bank of New York, like they all got their hands slapped for laundering money for the cartels. And like these are like the established banking industry. And so it's like, yeah, any currency is going to have a percentage of people committing crimes with that currency. And it's just, that's another one of those anti-crypto arguments that I just think just makes no sense.
Yeah, if you're gonna launder money, you have to do it through one of their banks. They're just trying to get a monopoly on that.
Yeah, that could be it. I mean, it could be as simple as that because, yeah, it's just same thing with the energy usage thing. It's like, oh, Bitcoin uses all this energy. Well, how much energy does our existing financial system use? Like printing money and driving it around the country and like shipping it around the world. Like that uses a little bit of energy too. But total tangent, but that's just the first thing that pops out of when I'm reading that.
Yeah. Ty, go ahead.
No, I mean, yeah, that's like mainstream media 101. Like, tell all the normies it's for criminals and crimes. Like, I'm about to get a text message from my mom, I'm sure, about it.
Yeah,
it's so recent. Like, this just happened this morning, so I'm sure we're gonna hear a lot more about it this week. But just throwing that on y'all's radar. I don't really have a super informed opinion on it yet, but I think next time we come together, we'll probably be able to analyze it a little bit more.
Yeah.
But switching gears again.
Yeah, go for it.
Do you have something? I was going to start this off with Sweet Purcell.
Hey, yeah, real quick, I guess, and maybe this is something that we could dig into on a separate podcast or get the right guest involved who could speak to it. But like the way that the US is trending with crypto regulation, laws, and everything, there are other countries I feel like trending in the other direction that are more crypto focused for the positive sides of being anonymous and everything like that. I don't know. Just curious where everything's going to go, and maybe multi-national citizenship is in the future.
I think it would be good to have a podcast just like looking at all the different places we can go if shit hits the fan.
Yeah, right. Like Puerto Rico, Portugal. Like where we at?
Yeah, anything that starts with port seems to be pretty crypto friendly for some reason.
Did you guys see there was a lady that was doing a service for that where it was like there's like 5 different countries that you could get like partial citizenship to and pay 0 taxes for trading, and it was, man, I want to say it's about 9 months ago, but the only downside was you had to give up your U.S. citizenship.
Oh,
But
bummer.
it's like I want to say
Not-
it was like $5,000, and then like you would like be guaranteed citizenship to one of those 5 countries.
Yeah, I don't know if that's worth it.
No, I decided not to enter into it, but I'll do some research on that too. But yeah, Ty, I think that'd be a fascinating topic with somebody that's really understands what's happening. Like, yeah, I would love to listen to that one.
For real. Down, do a research trip and go check these countries out, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, do some boots on the ground action.
You know what I mean?
Head to the beach, talk to people about crypto. I'm down, man.
Awesome. All right, we're getting into it. Sweep or sell, everybody's favorite segment. In case you're not familiar with what it is, just a really quick summary. We're going to go through the top 10 collections on OpenSea based on 24-hour volume, and we're going to just pick whether we would sweep these or we would sell these at their current prices. If my computer will load, we'll be able to see the top 10 here. Okay, cool. So going back to what we talked about earlier, CryptoDickButts, 3.87 floor price. The unique ownership wasn't as bad as I thought it was. It's 65% of people only had one of these, so that means like 35% could flip if they want to. For me, I would buy these. I know I'm terrible with NFTs. I mean, with meme NFTs. I think this is one of those that like I wouldn't actually put my money into it. So I'm just trying to think from the perspective of like counter trading myself. So I'm sweeping these at 3.87 because it doesn't make much sense. Kaizen, how about you?
I'm gonna sell. I think that if you've been holding these for a year, then it'd be a really good point to take some profit. I think when we talk next week, the floor will probably be lower, but it's probably got a little bit of room to go up. But I feel like it's a good point to take some profit.
I'm selling these suckers. I love the CDBs. Don't get me wrong, but we're at an all-time high, and I'm taking my profits.
Smart men. I'm too Degen apparently. But this is the thing that you would want to counter trade me on. So
Long term, you're good.
straight up. All right, number 2, we got Webaverse Genesis Pass. This is a new collection. It's also been pretty hot on Twitter. I don't know too much about it. There's 12.1k supply. Ownership is a third. I don't know. I think they had some drop going tomorrow. I don't know if all the passes are out already or what's going on with that. Kaizen, do you know anything about this that you could share with us? I know you did a little bit of research this morning, but
Yeah, I don't know exactly what the supply is, but I do know they do have some drops coming up. It's an open source metaverse that does have some VR integration, and I think it kind of hits all those buzzwords to get people excited, but it's still like just another metaverse in my opinion. So I'm just gonna go ahead and say I'm selling. Like I just save your money, invest in real life land. Like that's the real boss move. Like I think there's a chance. I love the idea of an open metaverse, and I hope that this works. But I feel like there's like a 1% chance that it actually becomes like the metaverse.
Yeah, probably less than 1%. It's a cool website. It's kind of got like some Magic Leap vibes, but I don't know anything about it, so I'm selling.
It's pricey too. Like if you're just gonna take a flyer, like 0.63, like we're a little bit late in my opinion. If it was 0.08, I mean I might have grabbed one, but I didn't know about it yet. But yeah, 0.63 is a lot to take a risk.
yeah, I see a lot of the traditional crypto Twitter people that I used to see back in 2017, 2018. And like, the DeFi crowd is mainly what I'm trying to say. They seem to gravitate to Webaverse more than some of the NFT people that were around, like in the Bored Ape circles. So I don't know. To me, I'm not as in tune with that community. so I'm already a little bit biased against it. Also, some people from Webiverse hit me up about having Apewell, having our project integrated into there, and they never got back to me. So I'm selling the fuck out of these.
Damn, they ghosted you?
Yeah. So we're gonna fade Webiverse on this
Faded.
one.
See you later.
Yeah, I'm
All
out.
right. I have not heard of this one. My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy by Beeble.
So this one is like just some generative art that's inspired by Beeple, and so obviously they just tried to make some people think it's Beeple by naming it Beeble. So I feel like that's a little bit shady, but I like the way they look. And Beeple actually like retweeted about this, saying, "Hey, look, I'm not involved, but this might actually be cool if they do this the right way."
Yeah,
And
that's
so I might get one. I was actually about to buy one this morning. I might just get one and see what happens. I think it's 1,000 supply, and just the vibe is kind of cool. So I think I could take a risk for 0.14 or whatever it is right now.
It kind of seems like there's some kind of AI to do with this,
Yes.
like an actual creation.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. I think I would, just for the hell of it, 0.14 floor price, I would take a flyer on this. I would probably try to flip it real quick if it does get that pump. But yeah, I would sweep.
No, this is something that you're gonna lose some money on if you buy this for sure. I'm selling.
I think at some point it would be so fun to do an episode where it's just us like making the total wrong calls on some of these things, like, and just kind of laughing at ourselves, because I know that I have hot takes on some of these things, and I know I'm going to be wrong, like way wrong on some of these.
It's like we need the Post-it notes on, like, in TNT when it's like NBA Tonight and they got Chuck and Shaq on there, and anytime they make like some bold prediction, like Bucks are going to win the championship, they put it on a Post-it note and then they put the date on it, and they just like once in a while come back to these just outlandish takes.
Yeah, exactly.
We need that, or at least some way to like take our picks from the previous week and then see how they're doing just a week later and see how off we were. Because I know I've had some terrible takes on here before already.
Yeah, what is that intern? That Fiverr intern? That's another job we can put on the list for them.
Yeah.
By the way, this is not financial advice for anybody.
No.
Right.
No.
This is the least financial advice you could get. We're gonna skip. I mean, we talked about Lady Ape Club last week. I'm surprised it's still at 0.79. I can't remember what they were at last week. But we definitely said sell, I remember. I'm sticking with sell on these because Bored Ape derivative, any kind of derivative like this, community doesn't stay. So yeah, it's not something I would risk holding on to. What about y'all?
Yeah, I hate it. Just sell it. Like if you minted this for free and you're not taking profit at 0.79, I don't know what to tell you.
Is this? It was a free mint?
I mean, it should have been. If it wasn't, it should have been.
Yeah, I'm selling this shit for sure.
They should pay you to mint these.
Man.
Other side for 2-1. I don't know, man. I might sell those too.
215. I'm staying consistent. I've said buy every single time down from like 2.6 something, so I'm sticking with buy. Just because of my stubbornness. I'll simply buy until my investment thesis is right.
I'm selling. I think we can get under one. And man, what is going to happen to these floor lands when the other 100,000 lands drop? Like, I just can't see these floor ones appreciating.
I'm not going to lie. I'm thinking about this a lot, and I feel like they're already priced in. Like, everybody, it's no private insider information that the next 100,000 are going to get released. So I think people are already anticipating that with the prices that we see now. So yeah, I think whenever the new plots drop, there's not going to be as much of a supply or like a price change as people would think. That's my hot take on this.
And yeah, that's a good call. You might be right.
Post-it note on that sucker.
But I think the
We'll
point,
get that.
if you really want some of these other side lands, like you were kind of saying last week, like you can look at some of those rarer components, throw in some bids, and you could get some steals. I don't think any of these floor items are going to make you rich.
We'll keep our eye on these. I just wrote down in the post-it notes. We are going to do this. I literally have post-it notes right next to me. Other side lands are priced in at 2.12.
Priced in August 8th, paper.
Yeah.
We'll come back to that one in December and see where we're at.
Yeah, maybe not. We'll see how bad that ages. I'm just glad that on today's episode we're getting some differing opinions on these. I'm loving it. CryptoPunks. Let's see. 76.28. I still think they should be higher. So I'm buying these, selling them at 100.
Yeah, I'm buying. I definitely want, punks. Again, they're just doing all this based on legacy. Like there's no utility, there's no parties, there's no video game. Like it's just a dope, like legendary PFP. Like it's always going to be, if NFTs have value, this one's always going to be near the top.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I would pretty much buy like if they're under 100, but maybe it's like try to look at it with a different take. Is the market kind of hot right now because of the Tiffany thing? Like if you do have a punk, is now a good time to sell because people are looking for the Tiffany stuff? I'm not sure. I do think they're a good value right now. But typically I feel like when there's a lot of talk, a lot of hype, the price is up in the short term from where it could be. So if maybe these will continue to trend down just a little bit, but shout out to the punks.
Yeah, on a quick tangent, going back to the Moonbirds CCO thing, I think if punks went CCO, it would go over so much better with them because people actually buy punks for the art sometimes, like the art value of them, unlike the Moonbirds. Because then if you had punks as CCO, then you could look at any of the punk derivatives and be like, okay, well, this drives value back to the punks because they set the precedent that this kind of art's cool. Just random tangent thought that I've been thinking for the past couple days.
I think I agree with most of that and maybe all of it. I mean, it's just CryptoPunks have like the most derivatives already, right? Like there's already dozens of them. And so I think they would be least affected by that versus anybody. Like they've already been flipped and turned around and like just change the colors. And I don't know. I think, they would just keep rolling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's because like they've already had such an influence over the whole space, and it's clear if they were CCO, everybody would know exactly where they came from. So from that aspect, it would make so much more sense than Moonbirds. Kevin Rose, I don't know what you're doing. But yeah.
I'm sure he's listening, man, and he's gonna know how I feel too.
I'm gonna be on his hit list after this. All right. Moving on to number 7, the Rare Pepes. Somehow they're still staying relevant. They're
hanging in there, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they got the mutants, their version of the mutants, whatever that is called, coming up next. I think they'll probably see a pump from it, but I honestly have zero long-term hope for this community, so I would just sell at 0.25.
Selling at 0.25. Well, Daddy-O just chimed in and he's saying buy.
Hey, what up, Daddy-O?
So I don't know, 0.25. I saw a couple big sales yesterday though, like a few in a row too. So I don't know if that's they're getting bought on the way down or what, but I feel like I missed the boat on this one. I already had the chance to like 10x, so there's no way I would buy right now.
Yeah, sorry, Daddy-O. I would sell these two at this point. I know there's some people that have some big bags. I still regret not buying my ape version at 0.06. I'm stubborn. I just can't buy a separate floor one for like 10x that, so, or more than that. And yeah, there's whales, man. I'm happy for everybody that's making money. Like the guy that owns my ape has like 50, and so props to them. And I've been watching his wallet, man. I feel like he needs to take some profit, but people like to gamble, so good luck.
I think a lot's gonna ride on this next, whatever their mutant version ends up being like, because it seems like they're working pretty hard on the art for it, and if that ends up separating, I don't know, I guess just separating a little bit further from the Bored Ape, just inspiration that these guys took, I think it'll go a long way for the collection. So to play devil's advocate, I think that's what'll help keep the momentum growing for the Apepes.
And I do want to say I like it. I think it's a great concept, and they're doing everything right to this point, and I think they will get a pump from the mutant drop. But yeah, long term, I can't really see it.
All right, moving on to number 8. I'm surprised right here. So the last things in the top 10 were our good friends at Yuga Labs. We got the Bored Ape Kennel Club, Mutant Ape Yacht Club, and Bored Apes rounding out the top 10, which is surprising because they're normally top 5 for the most part. Maybe not the kennels, but at least the apes and the mutants. So kennels have been having a huge run up lately because people are anticipating the Mecha Dogs, I believe, which they were supposed to be, something launching for them sometime in August of this year. So I think that's why we're seeing this big run up right now. The floor price is 8.79. I would buy into this news, wait for the announcement, and then sell later. So I'm sweeping these at 8. They've been this high before. I think they still got a little bit more room.
I don't know. I would typically I would be like, all right, let's buy for the exact reasons you just said. I think there's some room to run, but it's weird to see the dogs making such a run and the apes and the mutants kind of staying stagnant and even dipping just a little bit. So it almost makes me feel like there's room to run for those two, or these guys are going to come back down a little bit before they hit that spike for the Mecha Dogs. It's a tough call here, but I like the fact that they're up, so I'd be selling. I feel like we called these as a buy at like 5 or 6. I'd take my 3 profit here and sell.
I actually picked up a dog last week, so just like Paper said, I'm trying to flip it, and I picked it up at 8, and so it dipped down a little bit right after I bought it. Now they've been knocking around 9, and man, I think I'm gonna try and hold on to this till 10 or 12. Like I feel like it's got legs, and whatever's happening with the Mecha Dogs on that roadmap, I would love to have a third dog just to try and time and sell the top, whatever that is. So it's not a long-term hold for me. I want to flip it. I've been burned on those before, but I'm gonna ride with it. So I guess it's still a buy for me.
Yeah, this is one of those others where it's just a pretty steady incline on the price. It looks like they peaked on the average price a few months back in April at surprisingly 12.34, which what the reason for that was. It might have just been that's when the market was peaking, but clearly if they've sold at this much in the past, now with this announcement coming out, especially if we find out that maybe the dogs get something to make them Mecha Dogs, then yeah, I think there definitely is that room to run. Ty, did you have something else?
No, I was just gonna say it looks like a nice looking chart.
And
I'm liking the distribution also.
Distribution's great. The supply is so low compared to mutants and apes. I think we've talked about that. On the leaked pitch deck, it says they're with the Mecha Dogs. It's a plan to monetize BAKC. So whatever that means, I think it's bullish, and we'll see, man. I think Ty, you made a good point about the price of this versus mutants. Like it's insane. It's what, about 50%?
Yeah,
like,
I mean, it's the closest I think I've seen it in a really long time.
So my next play that I'm trying to do is move some money around and pick up a mutant. Like I feel like if we haven't seen the floor, we're really close to it. And if these dogs are pumping, like that ratio between dog and mutant just is not right.
Doesn't look right. You know what I mean?
Now you're talking my language, Kaizen, with those ratios. I'm loving it. And I totally agree. I think that's a really good segue into the mutants. It sounds like you're probably going to be sweeping these. I
Yes,
definitely agree with you on that. I think these have been sitting at 16 for too long. The only thing that does concern me is how much higher the mutants and the Bored Apes are trading compared to some of the other blue chip projects like Clone X. We're basically twice what mutants are, and then Azuki, Doodles, they're all kind of in the same range as well. I just think that's something to watch. It's not really as comparable just because they are different teams, different collections. They serve a different fan base basically. But yeah, in terms of the Bored Ape Kennel Club and Mutant Yacht Club, the ratio does not seem correct at all. So I'm sweeping these.
and yeah, we've talked about Clone X a lot, and of course, they have the 20K supply. So that ratio, if we're saying, hey, mutants and Clone X are about the same, then that's pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
But Doodles, I don't know. Like, I mean, it's just that typical hype cycle, right? Like, they haven't announced anything, and maybe just people aren't really buying the whole duplicator. They're planning to like kind of go mainstream, and maybe that's what it is, or maybe it's just that typical lull between announcements. I've been wanting a doodle. I can't get there. I just where are you guys at on doodles?
They've been getting fudded hard on Twitter.
Yeah.
They haven't made a new tweet for a while. I'll go look them up real quick just so I can get this right. But Ty, what do you think about them?
No, I mean, I think they kind of shot themselves in the foot with the duplicator and the Genesis box in terms of, like, I feel like particularly the doodle community was like hella against dilution, and like they were fudding like Yuga and Bored Apes for like, oh, mutants are diluting the community and beans are diluting Azuki, and like, oh, would you rather have this and that? I just feel like doodles were so hardcore on that, like to the point where it got super annoying. And then they dropped like the fact that you can now make millions of more doodles with like the duplicator, the Genesis box, and it's confusing. We just talked about how 10KTF is already confusing. So clearly it'd be really hard to be a part of both of those projects well. But yeah, I feel like they had a ton of momentum. They brought Pharrell into the space, and then the last day NFT NYC like added confusion and dilution to their project, and then boom, started the downward momentum, and they haven't snapped out of it. They were in the driver's seat for number 2, in my opinion. Coming out of South by, heading into NFT NYC, all the momentum to stay in that driver's seat with like number 2 blue chip, and then lost it.
Yeah, I think that's pretty similar to what's going on with Moonbirds right now. It seems like we're seeing a few of the things that people consider blue chips are falling from grace, or whatever people say. It's something interesting to watch. I think the Clone X are holding up surprisingly well compared to them, just because they're basically the same price as the mutants right now. If you make this, actually no, never mind. I forgot mutants are also 20K. So yeah, I think
Good call. Yeah, I missed that. But yeah, that's totally 20 and 20.
But yeah, so we've already talked about the other 2 Yuga collections. Bored Ape Yacht Club, 84 floor price. I mean, just going along with the other 2, I think there's a lot more stuff that Yuga is coming out with that they've been building for months, and we're just about to like find out what it all is. So I'm buying these. I think there's going to be a lot more announcements in the future and hype coming up for these different collections. Guys, and what about you?
Man, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and buy. I'm in. Let's keep going, man. Let's keep pushing, and yeah, I'm excited to see what they do next.
Yeah, bye.
Simple as that.
Simple as that. Look, all these other projects are just shooting themselves in the foot, dude. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to keep everybody happy all the time, and like you definitely are gonna fail trying to do that. But like, you also don't need to get crazy with it. You know, shot like a la Doodles or some of these other projects. Like, slow and steady can win the race. You know, it's all so new. We don't need to try to hit these home runs yet. I'm buying the Bored Apes for sure. And then what's next? We got the crude born eggs. Is that rounding us out at number 10?
No, the apes are number 10.
Oh, apes are 10.
Yeah.
11.
Are the crude-born eggs something to keep an eye on? I haven't heard about these, but I saw one of my guys that I follow was buying into some kind of eggs. So maybe it's this.
These surfaced in one of my alpha chats. I don't know anything about them other than I think someone posted them. The website is all right, and they're 0.07. So I feel like if you're a Degen and you got a couple to risk on it, like, yeah, why not go for it?
It gives me the Goblin Town art vibes.
High risk, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. That's as deep as I got was just, yeah, I got Goblin Town vibes. I think their website is crudeborn.wtf. Yeah, crude. So I mean, they're definitely trying to follow that whole game plan. It might be worth it. I think I should probably grab a couple of those, and it's worth the 0.07 risk at this point.
It might be. I was gonna try to pull them up on Parsec really quick and see what they were hitting for.
I'll just buy one right now for the culture and see what happens.
Nice, hell yeah.
If MetaMask will allow me to do that. Yeah, I just feel like degening. I think there's some stuff that's going on, and I think people just want, like, people are seeing some stuff like CryptoDickButts and the Rare Ape Pepes and some of these other projects that are getting momentum, so they're trying to capitalize on that. I think these profits are going to flow to some other smaller projects. So I'll take a gamble. I'll take a flyer on one of these.
Yeah.
What number are you getting? Because I think I'm going to buy one too. You getting 3766?
I just clicked on the one that was at floor. I think it's probably already sold by now, though.
I'm going for 9337.
Okay, dope. We're both getting in this, I guess. Are there any other new projects that you guys were looking at, Ty? I know you dropped one in the channel earlier about Sarah Scripps project.
No, I mean, shout out to Sarah Script. I think Jen posted that in the ATX Degen group thread. So I just put it on here. It looks like she's got like a funny take on Moonbirds called the Moonbirds project. And I think that it was still minting for like only 0.01 or something like that on the website. So if you don't already have a piece of hers, it could be a great entry.
Looks like 71 have been minted so far.
Hey.
Pretty cool. Yeah, shout out Sarah. I don't know if she's from Austin. I've seen her around here at like South by. But yeah, just another Web3 artist who's making some moves.
Yep. Exactly. No, I don't have any other like major projects on my radar outside of the stuff that we've talked about right here. Feel like it's a good week to try to make some moves on the coin side of things too, with the market being a little bit with NFT side being a little bit stagnant lately. Coins seem to be moving a little bit, and I might pay attention to them a little bit more this week.
Yeah, to me, on the coins, I'm pretty sure this is the final move up we get before we go back to Goblin Town.
You think so?
I'm going to be looking to sell, especially if Bitcoin starts getting around the 30K range. But I guess the question is, how high is it going to go on this pump?
30?
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying, like, if it gets that high, that's where I'm going to sell.
Yeah, we're almost at 24 again right now. So.
Yep. So that's how I'm playing it. I just got the crude born egg, so we're in this. The floor is now lower than what I bought it for, so that's great. And yeah, we'll keep an eye on it.
I did my part, man. I'm in too, so I'm looking at it in my wallet. But yeah, I made a move, man. I moved some Bitcoin into ETH, just trying to follow that narrative of the merge and ETH 2.0. Like, I just trying to play that, man. I don't do a lot of flipping between coins, but I feel like those are the two safest. And just that might be kind of my kind of passive move from here on. Is just like go from like this ETH 2.0 into the next Bitcoin halving, and just kind of make some big moves between those two.
Right.
So
Yeah,
kind of, longer term holds, but just I think pretty safe as far as Degen coin plays.
Yeah, I think DCA is the safest way you can do it right now. Just on some stuff that you just focus on stuff that you actually use, stuff that you actually like to use, and if you got a good team behind it, that's a huge plus. But yeah, I guess that pretty much covers everything. Is there any last words that you guys have before we sign off? Shout out to Daddy-O, by the way. Thanks for joining. Thanks for timing in. We love the comments going.
Thanks, Daddy-O. Thanks for listening. No, I've got nothing. I'm just excited, man. Like, just like we were saying at the beginning, just to get back in this normal Degen routine. Like, no more trips for a while, and just I'm going to be locked in with photography stuff, and then with Degen stuff, and a lot more good stuff coming.
That's awesome. Yeah, no. As always, I mean, shout out to the ATX Degens, and appreciate you guys for syncing up today and hosting the show. Let's have a great week. Let's make some money, and I hope everybody's bag's pumped to the moon.
Yes, sir. All right. Thanks everybody for joining. GM, GN, wherever you're going, whatever time it is where you're at. We will see you on the next episode. Peace.